friends. Welcome to Flosstube and Variety Show number 140. Today is Friday, January 3rd, 2025. It's kind of hard to say. And I'm Emily Williams in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Thanks so much for joining me. Happy New Year to everybody, and I hope that everyone had a happy Christmas holiday season, stretch of time over the past couple of weeks. The last time I made a video was on the 20th of December, and since then we've had Christmas and New Year's and got friends visiting and family visiting and presents and good food and games and all of that. So I don't actually have much cross-stitching to talk about, but a couple of important topics on cross-stitching and a few random topics because, you know, that's what the variety show is about. Random things. But Flosstube is about cross-stitch, so let's get started with that. As I had said in the past few videos, I am going to stitch this one, Hannah Green 1826 by Hands Across the Sea, over the next 14 months as part of a stitch along. And Leslie has called me the Wrangler in Chief. Okay, it's kind of funny. But I did divide the chart into 14 lettered sections. And as I've said in other videos, most notably my previous video and in the description field under this one, the idea is that if you do it in this order, you can do it in any order you want. But if you do it in this order, you're going to do regular motifs and border down to here, do a little of the full coverage, do another regular motifs and border section up here, and start the over one, so that neither all of this full coverage at the bottom nor all of the over one in the middle is left to the end to become overwhelming. It will all be done a bit at a time if you follow the plan, which is in the description field. I also have an Instagram post about it, and Leslie posted in a couple of places on Facebook, and I posted in the Queen City Sampler Guild Facebook group and got a lot of interest. So I hope there are a lot of people stitching this. So this is my start. So this is my fabric. This is just the Ticket 36 count by Tabby Cat, and there's my start. I love the colors. Just love it. And so the next thing I'm probably going to come along here and do, there's another one of these carnation type flowers that shows up here in the border. But then this one, it goes, the border comes down like this, and then it comes out into a flower that has the blue color in it. So I'm looking forward to getting that color going also. This was released by Hands Across the Sea at Nicola Parkman's event that was for the Queen City Sampler Guild last May. And it was actually not released on May 1st, but I think on May 2nd, as part of the Queen City Sampler Guild, the Queen of the May. That seemed a logical connection. And so many of us bought the chart that day. And a lot of Queen City Sampler Guild people are stitching it. And some of you may be new to my channel, so a special welcome to you. So that is one cross-stitch thing. I hope I showed you the front of that and not the back. Let me just show it again in case I showed the back. Sarah was notorious for showing the back. I want to be like Sarah, so that's good. Oh, one thing I'll mention, if you are kitting this up in DMC and using the bookmark, beware, the number, the DMC number for the second to the last item in here that's called drab brown, the DMC number is wrong. It should be 610. And I get that because inside the booklet the number is right, but there's a misprint on this bookmark. So you might want to be sure of that. So another stitch along that I am going to start very soon, which is also connected with the Queen City Sampler Guild, is Martha Miller 1858. Now this was a chart that was released at a special event, one of our guild events, October maybe, September, something like that, somewhere in there. And it's actually charted by a guild member, Sylvia Sylvia. Sorry, Sylvia, I don't remember your last name. I know it's hyphenated. Anyway, and there's a stitch along that started January 1st for this, which I'm delighted to be part of. This chart is exclusive to the Guild until later this year, but later this year it will be available. Sylvia's company is running with needles and scissors. This little rabbit on the bottom. It's cute. But one of the reasons I like this chart is because I like the fact that it has purple in it, which is not that common in my observation of samplers. And it has these cute little guys here, Moses and Aaron, and I just love their little looks to them, you know, what they look like. And of course the verse is, "This is the way to know the Lord, and this will please him too, to hear and read his holy word that tells us what to do." And that is why Moses and Aaron are on the sampler, because they are, of course, biblical characters from the Old Testament. Anyway, I really like this. I haven't started it yet. I'm going to do it in DMC. And I have a yard of, this is Hogbristle by Fox and Rabbit. This is 16 count Aida. So it'll be kind of big. It'll be about 15 inches square on this count fabric. I might look at, I have a piece of 46 count Tephra by Cedar River Linens and Designs, but I really love Aida. And the chart is all cross stitch, so I think I can, it's all cross stitch over 2. So normal, I'll say normal cross stitch, no specialty stitches, no over 1. So I think I'm gonna do it on the 16 count Aida. So that'll be really nice. So other things cross-stitch related. I had mentioned to you in the past couple of videos that I am going to finish in 2025 under the roof of Blue Ionian weather. And I have a spreadsheet, of course, which lays out the number of stitches per day that I would need to do in order to finish. And I have about 21,500 stitches to go. Out of 72,000 stitches altogether. Last year I did almost 10,000 stitches on it, so I'm trying to do double that this year in order to finish it. Yes, I think I can do it. It will take me paying attention to it. And of course there's a lot of confetti, which is one of the reasons it's a slow project, but oh well. But I will be working on that, and I won't show it every week because even if I did 500 or 800 stitches, you might not even be able to tell on a weekly basis because it's just so much confetti, so much gray and all that. But I will show it soon. I'm also going to be working on, as I mentioned before, Jane Thompson, 1834, is that the date of that one? It's a Scarlet House chart, and Margaret Hutton, which was another Queen City Sampler Guild related project, which was the project that Nicola Parkman presented at the event last May. That may not yet be available generally, but I'm going to be trying to finish that before the 1st of May because we have little videos that show us how to do some of the specialty stitches, and I would like to still have those videos available as I finish up that sampler. So anyway, those are some things on my radar. I have a lot of other things going, as you know. This weekend would be the first weekend in, I mean, it is, not that it would be, it is in fact the first weekend in January. And I want to do a Blackbird Design Weekend Sal on the first weekend of each month, but I'm not going to start something new this weekend, so that'll have to wait. The third weekend of the month is Nativity Sal, and I don't have a nativity project going yet either. So I'm thinking of doing a Blackbird Christmas-oriented piece and work on it 2 weekends a month. That's one idea I have. Another idea is to do a small item in Blackbird to be my smalls exchange item for later this year when I go to what would be called the Great British Sampler Weekend 2025, but instead it's now Mrs. Parkman's Academy of Needlework. But it's the third edition of the Great British Sampler Weekend Great British Sampler Weekend. The second edition of which was this past fall at Hobby House Needleworks, which I did not attend. So anyway, those are some things on my radar, and you'll just have to keep watching my videos in order to find out what really happens. Because as with so many of us, the plans don't always come to fruition because I get distracted or other things come up that take my time or whatever. So anyway, I do have one other cross-stitch related thing, which is not something I'm working on, but I bought this book, Vintage French Needlework, 300 Authentic Cross-Stitch Patterns. And this has been mentioned before. It weighs a ton, first of all. You see it's quite thick. It has a ribbon marker, because if you were to choose to work on any of these, you would need to keep track of where you were. And it's French, mostly very large scale alphabets is mostly what's in here. And some examples of them in samplers are on, like here's a pillow with the initials MB and some floral corner items as an example. And these are beautiful individual capitals. Most of the alphabets are just capitals, and some of them are gigantic. Let me just pick a different letter other than Z. Well, here's the G and H page. So most are in one color. Some are in two colors. They are from French Project, and every one of them on the bottom of the page says Sajou number and whatever the number is. So this one, for example, I don't want to show them too long because it's copyright. YouTube doesn't like that. Sajou number 205, letter height 33 stitches. So if you're trying to plan a project or a monogram situation and you want to put something in, you'll know what you're getting. Here's another page of beautiful, beautiful letters. Anyway, there's some other things in here. There's some smaller letters, a few of them, which are not uncommon, and there's some multicolored designs. There's some corner and border motifs in here and so on, but it's just a beautiful book to browse, even if I never stitched one thing out of it. Very, very pretty. Very interesting. Veronique Maillard. Veronique Maillard is the author. I got it from Amazon. So anyway, that is going to be fun. Another bit of random variety show that I'll talk about is that our book club is reading this book, The Last Ranger by Peter Heller. That is, you know, I'm about, what, a quarter of the way through, and I think the exciting part is upon us. So, I mean, the beginning of the exciting part. We've been laying out the groundwork. You know how it is with novels. Another gift I got for Christmas, I have one of them here. This is a hand warmer. It's rechargeable. You press the button to get it to turn on. And you can see there's a readout that says L1, level 1. It goes up to level 4. And this panel here in front heats up. So I am normally not cold. Normally the room temperature is fine for me, or even too warm. But sometimes, especially in the evening, my hands get cold. And if I'm cross-stitching or knitting and my hands are cold, that's uncomfortable. Well, I do use those hand warmer things that you rip open the little plastic package and you shake the little pouch of powder, and it's amazing that gets warm. And there's a chemical reaction happening there. But these are rechargeable little deals that are really nice, and there are two of them that came, and they magnet back to back so that you can keep them together. They came with lanyards so that if you wanted to, I guess they attach to the bottom, if you wanted to put this around your wrist so you wouldn't lose it. They're made for people who are hunting or fishing or doing outdoorsy things. They're not made for cross-stitchers, but why not use it? So I like that a lot. My son and daughter-in-law gave me that. Another thing that I bought for myself just yesterday is, this is a puzzle, a jigsaw puzzle, 200-piece puzzle by Ravensburger, which is a good brand. It's a good brand in terms of the quality of the pieces and so forth. And they call this a puzzle moment. Puzzle moment, 200-piece puzzle. It is not a child's puzzle. It's not, the subject matter clearly is not a child's. It's called Happy Cubism. And the pieces are not child size. This is a 200-piece puzzle for an adult to do. And I think that their recognition is that sometimes you want to do a jigsaw puzzle, but you don't want to have it up for days. You just want to have it up for a little while. So they're starting to sell these. There was also a 300-piece puzzle of a particular subject matter that I bought to put in my gift drawer for somebody. And I put this puzzle together just a little while ago, just for fun on the clock, and I did it in 56 minutes. And you may have noticed that I like keeping track of things numerically, quantitatively. So 56 minutes for this puzzle, 21,000 and some 516 stitches or something left to do, and under the roof of blue Ionian weather, that kind of thing. I do like spreadsheets and so forth. So the other thing I was going to talk about, oh dear, have I forgotten it? Oh, that's terrible. I was going to tell a little family story. Well, I can think of one little family story that is pertinent to the season. We used to, when my parents were alive, and really when I was in junior high and high school, we would get together on New Year's Eve with another family. In fact, my friend Leslie, her parents, and she and her brother, must be when we were young, and and her grandmother, and we would have a New Year's Eve party, and we would chat, and we would eat dessert. My mother would make a cheesecake, and we would have champagne. And after Byron and I got married, I think that there ended up being 9 people, and so he was the mathematician charged with pouring 9 servings of champagne out of a bottle and making them even, and cutting the cheesecake into 9 even slices. So, you know, we were very precise. I guess maybe I come by that honestly, huh? But anyway, I was just thinking about that. One of the things we used to do is we would play the dictionary game. That's what we called it. I think there's other versions of it that have actual names, which this moment I can't think of what they are, but we called it the dictionary game. So everybody had a little batch of paper that was the same size and shape, and a pencil, and there was a dictionary. And whoever's turn it was would open the dictionary, flip through, and find a word that they believed nobody knew the meaning of. So they would ask, you know, does anybody know the meaning of the word whatever? And so people would say, nope, don't know it. And so that was the word for the round. And so the person with the dictionary would write down the definition from the dictionary and would also make up a definition for the word. And then everybody in the room would also make up a definition for the word. And then the dictionary person would collect all the definitions and mix them up and then read them out loud. And you got points if you guessed the correct one, and you got points if other people guessed your incorrect one. And there were so many hilarious things that would happen in that game, and inside jokes and that sort of thing. And one of the ones I remember, so if any of you are from Leroy, in addition to Leslie, I hope you will not be offended by this, because I'm about to mention a real famous character of Leroy. And she was famous at this time as well. Anyway, Oh no, this was the game Taboo. Yes, I think we were playing Taboo. So different game, sorry. I'll tell you about Taboo instead. In Taboo, you're trying to get your teammates to guess the target word, but you are not allowed to use certain words that are printed on the card in your clue giving. So you can do full sentences, but you just can't use these words. And a real common example is that if the thing you were trying to get people to guess was, let's say, Patrick Stewart, you might not be allowed to use the word actor. So, or Star Trek or something like that. So you had to get people to say it without, well, the target word was facelift. And there were a lot of words you couldn't use, of course, you know, surgery, whatever, I don't remember, but that was the idea, that facelift was the word you were trying to get your team to say. And I can't remember who it was who was playing, but it might have been my mother who said, Ouija Pratt. And immediately the chorus was facelift. Anyway, yes. I don't know if she actually had facelifts or if we just thought that she did. But New Year's Eve was a great time for games. And then when it would get to midnight, we would open up the champagne and Byron would carefully pour it out into the correct number of portions. And we would wish everyone a Happy New Year with, you know, a couple of ounces of champagne and much goodwill and much fun. And that would be, you know, we wouldn't stay much later than that because midnight was late for all of us. So that was a very wonderful memory of New Year's Eves in my family background. Nowadays, we do often play a game or something on New Year's Eve, but we don't tend to wait until midnight to open the champagne, if we have any, because come to find out, in Newfoundland, they are 90 minutes different from us. So they're like 1.5 time zones away from Eastern time is their time zone. So at 10:30 at night, our time zone, they have hit midnight. So we celebrate Newfoundland time at 10:30. And then people are free to go to bed if they want to. Of course, you're free to go to bed anyway. There's not a law about celebrating New Year's. Okay, I think I have nattered on long enough. I will be back, I'm pretty sure, for a video next week. I hope I'll have cross-stitch to show, but if not, I'll just natter on a bit with you. Soon, it'll become a more normal amount of cross-stitch and more normal variety show topics, whatever they might be. And in the meantime, I hope that you have a great start to your new year. I hope that your 2025 is forecast to be a happy and healthy one. And I hope that your family has had a nice time, family and friends, a nice time celebrating over the past couple of weeks of holidays. And I look forward to a lot of stitching and quilt making and other projects and crafts in the coming year myself. And I'm so glad that you watch me on these videos. It is really fun for me to interact with you in comments and to see what we all might be talking about together. So that's all for now. Many blessings to you, friends.